What misconceptions do people have about writing their own will? And how does somebody navigate different state requirements? Well, have I ever found the answers for you? I am Lisa Kelly. I offer guidance for employers and employees who have experienced a significant loss, such as death, divorce, pregnancy, relationships. The list is endless. With my Pearls method, I support them in their work and lives outside of work too. One of the things that often comes up with me is having a will. So today I'm joined by Loretta Omland. She will share her insight on creating a will and her upcoming program in January that teaches you how to write your will. So, Loretta, I really appreciate you coming in today to discuss things with us. And I know you have 25 years of work in social work and life experiences also. What was it that helped you understand this practice of doing a will? What were the things that led to that?
I was also newly divorced and a single mom to a 6-year-old. And as life would have it, my 6-year-old tugged at my heartstrings and, Mom, can we get a dog? We finally went and got a dog, and she integrated into our life immediately. She was family. And my daughter, one Saturday morning, came screaming into the house, crying and sobbing. Our dog was out on the street and she had been hit by a car. And my daughter didn't see her being hit, but she saw her laying out there. She didn't understand death. She had no concept, no frame of reference in her mind. And she was unprepared completely for the fallout of grief and death. So I quickly got myself together. I didn't have documents either, no guardianship papers, not a will, not anything as a newly divorced person. So, in the process of learning what it would take and helping her understand death and dying is really where my whole online career evolved. I just didn't know it yet. It's only been in the last couple years where I've come online and found my purpose and my passion, and that's sharing with others the importance of talking about death. And a tool in order to start that conversation is writing a will, because most moms don't have one. Most people don't have one, but the mystery and the myths behind the difficulties in will writing are easy to break down.
Let me know some of those difficulties, Loretta. What are some of the roadblocks, challenges that you have encountered with your clients in regards to the lack of
Mm.
a will or even writing the will?
There's so many, Lisa, and thanks for asking that. First and foremost, people don't want to talk about death, and I understand that. The thought of writing a will conjures up the feelings, it's not for me, procrastination sets in, and then when they get practical about it, so I'm going to need an attorney. Then that brings up a whole new set of new questions and circumstances. Where do I find an attorney? How much is this going to cost me? I don't even know the questions to ask. So it's hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. When people realize how very simple it really can be, it's that point when their breakthrough comes in and they realize, I can do this. It's not as hard as I've made it out to be. And that's where the success lies. That's where people discover it's okay. I can write my own will and I can get it done.
And talk to me about your program in January coming up real quick.
I'm so excited. I've offered a couple of courses already. I've 2.0'd it for 2026.
Yeah.
I've got 4 sessions. It's called Your Will, Your Way, the Do-It-Yourself Blueprint. It's 4 sessions, an hour a week, and some homework in between. The homework in between gives people time to discover and ask themselves questions and do some reflective work, but also to make decisions that they've been putting off making. And by meeting weekly, there's accountability, because when you come back next week to me, I'm going to ask you, do you have this done? So in 4 weeks, I give you the tools you need and the resources that will help you do research and figure out, can I write my will for myself? And most people discover it's so much more simpler than they thought it really would be.
And that would be a great New Year's resolution to get
Oh,
that will done.
yes, yes. And I didn't even mention the great price I'm offering this at. It's 197. A great price for 4 weeks of meeting together. I'll take a total of 12 people just to give everybody personal experience and make sure I can have everybody be held accountable in getting the steps done. I want my participants to end with a will. I don't want them to sign up and just go through the steps. I want them to end up having their documents in order, having what they can do themselves. And if it's something they can't do all the way by themselves, they've got a huge jump start on visiting with an attorney. They'll go in already having background information and knowledge. And the starting price these days for attorneys depends on your area. I'll get you where you need to be. And if not, I do offer a money back guarantee after the first session. So you'll know after the first session if this isn't going to be right for you, no questions asked. Just let me know within 24 hours and I'll return your money. So you really have nothing to lose.
And what about a Christmas gift for your loved one? Check out www.lorettaomland.com and sign up for her January program. Get that off of your plate. You'll feel so much less stress for 2026. Loretta, what is the cause of procrastination for most people that you have worked with?
Oh, people come up with all kinds of reasons, and I bet anybody listening can relate to this. I'm too young. Oh, I'm healthy. Nothing's going to happen. There's just so many reasons why people can figure out how to put this on the back burner. And just about the time when you're ready to move forward with it, doesn't it always happen? Something comes up,
Yeah,
a family emergency, a vacation, a travel, something happens. And guess what? This isn't as important as it seems like it should be. So this can wait. Meanwhile, life keeps going on
definitely.
and it doesn't get done.
Yeah, that's definitely with everything in life. So, yes. Yeah, this is a great time to get that done. And you don't have to wait till your life is all settled now because that can be changed. That can be an evolving document, right, Loretta?
Absolutely. And it should be an evolving document. I have this saying is tragedy waits for no one. At any point, a car accident, a sudden illness, anything can leave us incapacitated. Any kind of event like that can leave us where we can't speak for ourselves. And while I'm not at the point where I'm offering power of attorneys and advanced directives, we talk about it. And then we talk about talking about it because that's another point where people just don't want to talk about death. And I understand, but it happens to every single one of us. It's relevant to everybody.
And you make it so simple and comprehensive that I know people are going to say, "Why did I wait this long?" And let's talk a little bit about beneficiaries on all of our accounts. If we pass away and we have a will, the will has one person receiving something from an account, and the account states a beneficiary, and they differ. Where is the hierarchy there?
Every single time the designated beneficiary trumps. And this is something that gets people in trouble all the time, and it's the easiest fix. Anybody can go take care of this right now. Every single account that you have might or might not have a designated beneficiary. Most of them you can add them if you don't have them. But if you have already listed somebody, make sure it's the somebody that still fits your life today. Because a lot of accounts, retirement accounts, bank accounts, or investment accounts, you've taken out decades ago. And back then, they would even ask you for a designated beneficiary or beneficiary. Just tell us who's going to get this if you die. That's a designated beneficiary. Well, fast forward, let's say 20 years, and maybe you've remarried, your children are now grown, things have changed, and you write a will, and your will reflects everything you want right now. But that designated beneficiary back then is some person that was relevant maybe when your children were young, and it's not relevant anymore. If you don't change that, you can write the will, it can go through probate, it will, who's ever on that designated beneficiary list is the person that's going to get that asset. We talk about that at length. Different ways in which assets transfer inside of your will and outside of your will. And if you don't know that, that's such a basic starting point. And I give you that information right away.
Another thing, Loretta, is what becomes part of some of our vocabulary after a death is probate. Can you elaborate on probate for me?
Probate is a slippery slope. If you only have a will, your will be subject to probate. And probate is the court's method or the legal method in order to make sure your will is number one, valid. You are the person that wrote your will, and that it's got the valid components or the components that make it legal in your state. And that's very important as well. A will in the state of, like, say, South Dakota, as compared to a will in California, there's going to be different requirements. So that's worth knowing about as well. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a legal person, I'm a social worker. I won't give you legal advice, and I'll put plenty of disclaimers out there. However, just knowing that everything written in your will be subject to the probate process means it's going to be public information. A will by itself is not public information, but the probate process is public. So if you don't want your assets to be going through the public eye, there's another way you can do it. That's through a trust. I talk about that as well. But probate is a legal process that determines, number one, is your will valid? Are the requirements of your will, are there proper signatures? And then once that's established, who's your executor? If you don't have one, they're going to name one for you. And then you have to go through the legal steps. Can I sell this property? And all of that has to be approved by the court, depending on if your will is written correctly. So there's a lot of components to it. But again, I'm going to say, when you know knowledge is power, it's not as scary as it might seem.
Even if you work with Loretta, you will and you go to a lawyer, you will have the language and the vocabulary and the confidence to speak with a lawyer because Loretta has prepared you well for that. So, Loretta, different states differ. How do you deal with that? Are you equipped to deal with different states' legislature for these logistics?
In today's world of technology, it's a lot simpler than it used to be. You just need to know the right ways to research and the right questions to ask in order to determine that information per your state. Now, if there's anything that's questionable, I promise you I'm going to advise you, you know what, let's get you this far and then go check it out with an attorney. Because again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to give legal advice. I don't practice law in any way, shape, or form. But getting to a point where your time with an attorney might be greatly reduced, or you actually go in and you have a draft and you say, here's what I want to do. My goodness, you'll cut the time down by hours.
Does this conversation remind you of a client of yours that maybe you'd like to share a story? Putting you on the spot here.
Well, I've worked with several clients to get them to the point of having their will written. Most people I work with have simple estates. If it's something complicated, I can look at your stuff and I can say, I probably am not the best resource for you. And I'm okay with that. I'm
Right.
100%. If you're getting started, that's the main thing. And aside from that, even if going to an attorney is something that you determine that's important, I can still help you get your life organized. I can help you get your paperwork in order. I can help make it easier on your family members. Let's get resources together so they can get into your computer, so they can get into your phone, so they know where your account information is located. All of that equally important.
Thank you, Loretta, for sharing your expertise today. And I hope that this conversation has given you a sense of urgency to put your affairs in order before it's way too late. Working with Loretta is one of the most practical and trustworthy resources you could use to find relief and peace of mind, knowing that those end of life logistics are in order, they're in place. Check out Loretta's website. It's www.lorettaomland.com to set yourself up for the 4 classes in January. Until then, I just hope that I can help you in some way. These videos can help you become the boss of your loss. Till next time.